I was just mean. Okay. We were having an excellent conversation, with just people out in the metaverse, the universe, right? And they just made my video disappear. Yeah, like they Houdini and shit. That was disturbing. It's quite mean. But we were talking about cold, about Canadian cold fronts living in Wyoming. And my boy, Dave Peterson, he's passed away from stress and abuse. They called it cancer. It was being raised in a bigoted society and not being a bigot, and then becoming a cop to try to protect people, and then dying from all the abuse because it was just too hard to live with. He drank horribly, and it destroyed his marriage, but his wife just didn't understand, Oh gosh. The bureaucracy. Okay. I worked with a guy named Jeff. He was in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most push-ups and sit-ups because he worked on an Indian reservation of Montana, and he was trying to encourage the kids, physical fitness and health to stay fit. But what he didn't understand scientifically is that these kids had overly efficient metabolisms over years of malnutrition, and so obesity was just part and parcel. We ain't drinking no more. I like this song. Okay, tell us a story, Thomas. Right? And so it happens, and it's just one generation. All we got to do is just make sure the next generation, right from baby time, during pregnancy too with mom, make sure she has all the nutrition she needs, because mom is the stomach, everything for the kid, right? So the pregnancy is muy, muy importante, right? And then once they're out, then we make sure they have a healthy, intelligent life. Not aggressive, not violent, not selfish, not tribal, secular, insular, and violent, but something radically different. Something with the peace of honor thy mother and father that transcends our physical existence and lasts eternity, through eternity, right? Okay, so do you want to get it? Okay. They stopped my video feed. I think they wanted to go in this direction. They're being autistic. I was not happy with it though. I was like, what do you want to talk about? Okay. Just live the Lord's Prayer. And if we have to talk, we will. But we shouldn't have to be artistic at this point in time. You do know I am correcting quantum computing with artificial general intelligence. That I can take. It's hard because I have an old phone. I have Xbox 360s. I got an old TV. Okay, I don't have any newer modern technology. Okay, if I had one of them Kevin Hart phones, shit, we'd all be living Lord's Prayer yesterday, I think, wouldn't it be? Yeah, probably so. Okay. Seriously, yeah, that's all I need. It's just new technology. Give me all the new technology, and then just turn me loose of it. Fabian, turn me loose. Turn me loose, I say, so just turn me loose of it. But they won't do that. Okay. They say he's delusional. He thinks he's doing this. He's delusional. He thinks he's physically going to survive this. You that think that most likely will not survive this, like I told Andrew Womack when I emailed him back in Sierra Vista, scared the shit out of the dude. It's funny too. I told him he might be a molecular similitude of one of Hitler's cronies. So I went to look up the time that he was born to see if it would correlate with Hitler's generals, right? I couldn't find any information on the man. And I'm like, is Andrew Womack doing this, or is this the Fort Huachuca fucking with me? Either way, it's funny, right? So I was like, this is some funny shit. I jumped his shit right away because he's the main manipulator of my sister and her family psychologically through tribal warfare, through old archaic tribal secular insular ways of manipulating. And he makes billions of dollars. My sister told me that too. She goes, Earl, you're just a guy who works at a grocery store in Cochise County with everybody coming up to talk to him and challenging him because he's supposed to have the greatest mind, one of the greatest minds in the history of the world, like Confucius and Tao and Krishna and Buddha. And yeah. Okay. She says, but Andrew Womack has millions of followers and billions of dollars. So did Adolf Hitler, Val. And Jesus? No millions of dollars, no billions of dollars, no millions of followers. Started out with 80, ended up with 12, right? So you know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there saying, I think Natalie, I think Val, that, your Earl's more, your brother's, too legit to quit. And the guy with millions of followers and billions of dollars there, I don't know Jafar, but I think he's got phenomenal cosmic power, but an itty bitty living space, right? So, but they're all that way. Okay. All billionaires and millionaires, phenomenal cosmic power. Itty bitty living space, right? I'm successful, I'm famous. So was Hitler. So was Pharaoh. So was Nebuchadnezzar. So was all the mass murderers that have big statues built to their violent sex cult, cultural, tribal, secular, insular insanity. Hey, look, Taj Mahal. Right? Great Pyramids of Giza. Those were horrible. Remember that Vietnamese young man that worked when we talked about the Great Wall and the pyramids? He says, oh, the slaves. Most of them died. They spent their whole lives building the wall to that man's ego and his family's ego, because he died before it was finished too. His family, hey, this is our big dick lying across the sand, so the Mongols shall not pass. You shall not pass, right? And you're like, fuck. Just make friends. They won't make friends. They'll try to rape us out of existence. Okay. I think if you get... No. Okay. So you think the NFL is trying to rape the NBA out of existence? I can see that. You sure about that? Oh, yeah, they all dress like a bunch of fairies in the NBA. In the NFL, we dress like men, Some of us even wear overalls. I've never seen any of you in overalls, but I've been thinking about getting a pair of overalls. They're really comfortable. But I'm waiting until I lose my weight. So I'll probably wait till the spring when my weight starts to shift. No, when my weight starts to shift. I don't say if. No, I say what I'm going to do, and then I do it. I'm not asking the military to participate this time. I asked them to last time, and they poisoned me and sent me to the hospital with chemical poisoning, and all the people told me, you need to take methadone to get over your drug addiction. I didn't have a drug addiction, lady. Do you know anybody in the town in the military here that can actually help financially take care of me and do right by me? No. Well, then I challenged them, and they didn't man up. And then they tried to betray me and act like a bunch of bitches. So this time it's like, no, survive, stop, eliminate abuse, recover. We've got quantum computing now with artificial general intelligence. I'm not asking the military to do right. I'm telling them, I got what I'm doing, and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm doing. And you would better, if you have business partners that refer to God and Jesus as Lord and all that stuff, you do know in the Bible it says that the Lord during the apocalypse was Earl, son of Ralph and Mary, born outside of the Trinity site. Okay? The evidence is overwhelming. But it's obviously underwhelming to egomaniacs that can clone and try to put their brains on robots because their brains are greater than the soul. What? Okay, without the soul, your brain wouldn't function. I know I'm just making that up. God doesn't exist. Okay, God is the omnipotent essence of existence. Okay, just because other people take the word and turn it into a possessive pronoun first person that they murder over for money doesn't mean that I am like them. Shit. Okay, like Suzuki said to me about Japanese with my Aunt Nana. He goes, you need to tell your aunt, If Okinawans killed my cousin, does that mean I should think that all Okinawans are cousin killers? Okay, only a Pewet judges a man by the group and a group by the man. Because we're judged by our deed. And we should be understood by the, quote, content of our character, right? And so, in our character, it has to be earned. Okay? You have to be truthful and faithful to that truth and not waver. Okay? How many of you out there with your bank accounts and making money off your phones can sit there and say, I'm like Lord Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. in Las Cruces, New Mexico, standing up for the Lord's prayer for us to live it worldwide so we can live Islam worldwide without ceasing, without relenting, without giving in, right? I get up every day and encourage these people to participate. I'm not challenging them, I'm encouraging them, okay? That would be great if ex-President Obama or ex-President Biden or current President Trump or someone in his family got up and said, Parsons Lord's Prayer, New Mexico, LA, right? Do you think it's, I would be very surprised if it did happen, but I would be impressed. I'd be surprised, but I'd be impressed. Good for you. Bless your little heart. Wow. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. All my ancestors and all your ancestors can run up and just give you, feel it, it's a rapture, it's a big hug. It's a group hug. Okay, so that's hard. If the person has Asperger's or is autistic, a lot of them don't like to be hugged, so no big group hug, just send them, it's 20 minutes to Wapner. I want to go to the Baywatch, right? Okay. It's weird. I've worked with kids with that. And then, because they're very attracted to girls and stuff, they don't want to be touched. It's like, okay, so, but you're attracted to the girls. Wow. Okay. The whole thing of attraction to girls is intimately touch her so you can love the kids. But you don't like to be touched. Well, loving the kids, a lot of that involves it. Wow, this brain damage through this toxic environment, that needs fixing. Yeah, I'm good at fixing brain damage. I'm a good person. I love people. I do. So, when you sit there, have you ever worked with kids? Well, it's not really worked, I guess. Been involved with and tried to care for and help them survive this hell with kids that are autistic or kids that, are of Asperger's or, label of Asperger's that have a brain injury because of abusive, perpetual insanity. Have you? It's agonizing. One time, Justin, a young man of mine, is a good friend, he missed his bus. And we came back and we were doing the thing, we had something, we were at an appointment and we came back and missed the bus, and so his schedule was altered. And he walked around in a circle and he was crying like a little kid, Wow, it didn't sound real, it didn't sound authentic, but it was real and it was authentic and you could feel the pain. And you wanted to reach out and hug him, but you couldn't. And then you felt for his parents, his mom's really uptight, and she said, well, she has to be very, regimented on this is what Justin needs, because that's the way he works psychologically, mentally, and emotionally. And his mom is, yes, she's a part of a result of that. But the result is denial of truth and abuse of people because of lie. And so when you look at situations and psychological and biological conditions eternally, okay, autism does more than speak. It screams, because they missed the bus. We were soldiers, Ralph. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. That's what he always used to tell me. And I sat there and I said, wow, this kid is not far removed from a Vietnamese soldier that was murdered because of this insanity. So the molecular structure, okay, that is closely related to my Justin, was not autistic. Okay? It was his favorite movie. He'd watch it all the time. We were soldiers, Ralph. We were soldiers. Blackbird singing dead of night. And I would go, okay. I've had that a lot with children. It's not a past life transgression, past, present, future right, operate at the same time. It's a reoccurring nightmare that doesn't go away. And it's not going to go away when we're living the Lord's Prayer. Justin's similitude will remember the autistic child in pain and remember the soldier in Vietnam dying. Requiem for the masses. He was told not to ask. He was taught not to ask, but was on his lips before they buried him, right? Okay, guys, I love you. We'll talk tomorrow. Okay, hang in there. I've just had a connection with my sister, I think. Okay, I love you. Peace.